and welcome back to Retrospect My Fantasy. Today, we're going to be continuing our design on the Al-Qadim World Guide, transforming it from 2nd edition D&D all the way up to the newest 5th edition. Before we get into that though, got a couple things to go over. Number one is that we are partnered with Humble. Now, this is kind of a big deal right now because if you are into D&D or comics or, God forbid, both, right now, over at Humble, there's a bundle that you can get where you can get almost every D&D comic. Almost all of them. $15. That's a steal. And a significant portion of that, should you choose, goes to charity. So the way the bundles work is you have a bunch of sliders that are all linked together, and you can choose where your money goes from the bundles. Or you can go there and take a look at the store, or even the Humble Monthly, all of which are amazing ways to pick up games, comics, ebooks, development tools for making your own games, or art, or photography, or web design. So please, go check them out. And if you're so inclined to help us out, use our link, because it lets them know that we sent you, and a portion of your purchases comes to our channel. So please go check out Humble, and especially if you're a comic book fan, go check out that D&D bundle. It's a killer deal. Number two is that we have a Discord. So if you take that link, that'll hook you up with our Discord, where we've got a bunch of chat rooms and a bunch of voice comms room for games. This is most important coming up, not tomorrow, but Saturday, where I will be announcing all the games that are going to be taking part in our 1-year stream celebration. So not only will I hope you join our Discord and check out that announcement, but I'll also hope, segue, that you will join us on Saturday, the 21st of July, just a little over a week away, for our 1-year stream anniversary. It's going to be right here on the channel. It's going to be from noon to midnight Pacific time, and I'm going to be playing games with you. Assuming you wish to join, of course. I'm not going to force anyone, I'm not going to twist anyone's arm to get in, to join a game, but games that I know for a fact are going to be there, the Jackbox Party Packs. That's it for now. But I'm pretty sure on a couple other games. I'm still figuring out exactly what I want to play for that day, and that's why our announcement on the 14th is so important. So you guys can figure out what we're going to play and get them installed ahead of time. But it's not just going to be on Discord, it's also going to be in our Twitter, so you can follow me there and get that announcement as well. God, it's hot. And last, but most important of these types of announcements is the fact that we have a Patreon. And the reason that's so important is because the Patreon is one of the more direct ways that you can help support us monetarily, and you get something out of it. I need to adjust one of the tiers to add one of the newest things that I'm going to start doing, but for our $1 to $4 tier, you get access to Patreon-only Discord channels, voice and text chat room. I'm going to create 2 chat rooms and I think 2 voice rooms for it. As well, or that's for that. At the $5 to $9 tier, you get access to the aforementioned Patreon, the aforementioned Discord channels, but you also get access to patron-only surveys, which is how we're going to be choosing all of our future franchises. So if you want to have a say in what any of our future franchises that we're going to be taking a look at for our Monday, Wednesday, and Friday show, that's how you do so. For the $10 to $19 tier, you're going to get access to the newest thing that I'm going to start doing, which is a weekly vlog. It's going to be posted in Patreon, only available to those patrons who are $10 and up. And at the $20 tier, and this is why I stress this so heavily on Thursdays, any project that we complete upon the completion of that during our design workshop, I will go and take a look at all of our patron supporters at that $20 tier, and I will make sure that they get a copy. If it's possible to do both digital and physical, they'll get a digital and physical version. If not, if it's only possible to do a physical or only possible to do a digital version, they'll get one of those. So, with all that out of the way, let us get into our design. Now, what you're going to notice down here at the bottom is a playlist. And the reason why I'm pointing that out right now is because this is something that only happens on Thursdays. That is music that's provided free of charge by the Free Music Archive. And the reason I have that up is so that you guys can check out the artist's name and the track title, so you can go and check it out there if you wish. We might have to take a break to get some more water later, because this is a warm, warm day. Alright, so last time on Game Design, we were working on our Al-Qadim world guide, and we had decided to go through all the gods. And we had made our way all the way up through Core, which was the 23rd page of our world guide, which leaves us next with Najam the Adventuress. Here we are. Okay. And then that can be bold and bold. And of course, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to ask. You're not going to learn if you don't ask. Alright, so let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Adventure and curiosity are the ideals of the great god and his or her followers. In some tales, Najam is female. In others, he is male. In any case, Najam is described as a dashing, hot-tempered, fervent, and very much alive, as mortals might be. Al-Qadim tales of this god have common themes. Najam doing the impossible. Oops. Wrong one. Finding the unfindable, or Najam attaining the unattainable. Symbol, that can become bold. Major mosques, bold. Pantheon. Yes, she's part of the Pantheist League deities. Make the unknown known. That is a good ethos. Achieve, do, and experience. The journey is more important than the destination. Do not be afraid of new things until you learn more about them. Curiosity leavened with caution never hurt anyone. Those are pretty good. As might be guessed by Najam's church, includes dynamic missionaries who seek to bring enlightenment to the heathen. Lovely. It also includes explorers who journey into the hinterlands. In Najam's name, returning to civilization with tales for the young as well as riches for the church coffers. Is a current priest of the order who is found in a far foreign land is usually a follower of Najam. Can get rid of this. Only 10% of Najam's followers in the church hierarchy are moralists. These are found primarily in the cities of the Pantheon. I don't know what I mean, I guess that matters, but Pantheon priests of Najam unwaveringly portray their god as male. Another reason to not really give a shit about the Pantheist League. They're kind of the bad guys of this world, by the way. They acknowledge the goddess Hajama as Najam's sister. Oops. Rude jokes to the contrary, implying less platonic ties, are not tolerated by the moralist. By moralist Najamites. Alright, so now let's get that god symbol in here. Magic Najam's symbol is an arrow. Get rid of that. Much better. All right. Completed pages. This is page 24. Perfect. Okay. You can go away. After Najam, we have Salon the Beautiful Moon. I like that. I like that name. That's a good god name. First off, you can all be regular. 12. What was it? 1237? Yeah, 12.37. Left aligned. Okay. Is that what I told you to do, Photoshop? I don't think so. Now this one can be bold 24. Oop. Also called Salon the Gracious and Salon the Gardener of the Garden. This goddess represents divine plurkitude and heaven. I don't know that word. And heavenly grace. How do we say this word, Google?
Pulchritude. Pulchritude.
Pulchritude means beauty. Alright then. Thank you, Google. She's described as flawless maiden, cloaked in shimmering white, and in the oldest tales, she's said to be linked to the moon. Such tales claim that she that the moon is her chariot. She rides across the sky while pursued by ardent suitors, who appear as a cluster of smaller stars following in her wake. Yeah, that makes total sense. I get that 100%. That seems like something that would come out of like a Greek tale. Yeah, that additional doesn't need to be there. She's the goddess of the moon. I'm assuming anyone who's playing D&D is smart enough to be able to put those together. Oh. That was supposed to have an extra letter, wasn't it? Yeah, supposed to have a K there. Okay. Also a pantheon god. The ideal of beauty. Some gods, you know? Reveal that which is pleasing. Accentuate the positive. Kind words can override angry curses. Beauty grows over time. Treat others with sweetness and goodness they deserve. A rather forward-thinking goddess. Salon's followers, like Kor's, tend to be traditional in their outlook, finding joy in what they know to be true rather than seek out new ideas and new thinking. Deep philosophical thoughts have never been a strong point to Selenite philosophy. I even like that word, Selenite. It's a good word. These priests place great stock in appearance, and they usually let initial reactions, which they call the sensation of the liver. Oh, no, of course, that's supposed to be... guide them in their lives. Salon is so much beloved by gardeners and... is much beloved by gardeners and artisans. Her great mosque is not in Hezez, but on the island of Efial, where her followers make up the most of the population. Neat. Now what's her symbol? Okay. Yes. There it is. Salon's symbol. That makes sense. All right. Nope. You. Page 25. Okay. You can go away. You. All that can go away. Oh boy. Zon the Learned may not fit on a single page. Because he's got this huge section right here. Common texts are documents from the official source and questionable authenticity, including personal letters and diaries. Well, we'll see. There might be stuff we can cut because it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of the game for the world guide. Wrong one. If you're wondering why I'm leaving the margins the way I am, it's so that when I print some of these, we can actually bind them. Does this... This is nowhere near fitting. Holy cow. Okay. Well, let's figure some stuff out here. Bold, bold. 24. And center justified. There we go. Intelligence and learning. Oh, well, there's one section we can get rid of. The Order of Priests. Oh, yeah. Free priests. That can all go away. Because that does not help anyone. The written word is. Well, that's an interesting ideal. Strength through unity. Our gift to our grandchildren. Oh. That all got cut up somewhere along the way. Because I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be the written word is our gift to our grandchildren. Because that's the only thing that makes sense. And this actually goes at the end. Only by gathering together and by... Oh, this got messed up real bad. Strength through unity. The written word is our gift to our grandchildren. So what is the ethos? That is probably a principle then. Only by gathering together. Alright, time to open up the book. is that going to be in Arabian Adventures, or is that going to be... Is that going to be in Priest Kits? No, it's not. Okay. Then that's probably going to be in Land of Fate. Yeah, okay. Zon the Learned. Understanding is the key. Intelligence and learning. Okay, so some stuff got real messed up here. Okay, so ideals are intelligence and learning. Not wherever Unity came from. And his ethos. Understanding is the key to all doors. And then his principles. Aha! That's what's going on. Alright, I'm gonna move this over chat. I'm sorry for a minute. So that we can copy this correctly. Okay. Do not destroy what you do not understand. We stand on a mountain built by our fathers, and only a fool would step off that mountain, learn from the mistakes of others. The written word is our gift to our grandchildren. Okay. Alright. Do not destroy what you do not understand. We stand on a mountain built by our fathers, and only a fool would step off that mountain. Learn from the mistakes of others. The written word is our gift to our grandchildren. Okay. Oh boy. Universities and libraries are built by Zan's followers and are the largest and most complete in all of Zakara. Xanites classify the contents of these libraries using 3 labels: Great Texts, Common Texts, and Heathen Texts. Great Texts are considered official documents and histories regarding the members of the faith as true and wise. They cover all of manner of subjects relating to Zakaran enlightenment, not just the great gods. A scholar seeking answers will always consult these official texts first. Combining with the best talents of the group. Aha! Yep. More stuff to cut. Common texts include unofficial sources of questionable authority, including personal letters, diaries, and documents that challenge or disagree with the great texts. Xanites do not believe in denying information just because its veracity is uncertain. As learning progresses, common texts may become great texts and vice versa. Okay. Oop. Wrong one. So let's... get this starting to condense. Do not believe, blah blah blah. Just because common texts may become great. Heathen texts come from the world beyond the land of fate. And then this whole section down here. Doesn't matter. Okay. There we go. That's much better. Got that nice and condensed. Zon the Learned. There we go. And this is page 26. I don't know why I did that. Done. Alright. So, Zon symbol can go away. Trash can those, please. Thank you. Okay, next is Gods of the Pantheon. Who have a whole thing going on. And I cannot trust this section right here, because it's been all sorts of messed up, not just messed up, mixed up with Okay, well, this is going to be interesting. And I don't know exactly how well this is going to work out. So let's just do it. Don't need that, don't need that. Well, crap. How badly did that screw everything up? Oh, greatly. Wonderful. Okay. Cut. Alright, so after symbol, major mosques, Pantheon, well, I would certainly hope that the gods of the Pantheon are the Pantheon. Wait, where's... God, this is a mess. Delete it all. Okay, starting over. Taking things from a PDF is a mess. Okay. Sorry, specifically from a double-columned PDF. Because I have to be very careful about how I do things. Okay, let's start condensing and then we can get in there. And figuring out what else we need to add. Because there's a whole nother section there, but... Okay. 24, middle, bold, and bold. Let's see here. Hajama, Jahar, Kor, Najam, Salim. These 5 enlightened gods make up the pantheon. Priests of the pantheon recognize only these gods, considering them to be the true great gods. Members of the Pantheist League do not tolerate the worship of any other deities. All but Jahar are known and worshipped throughout the Land of Fate. Still, the bond between pantheist and non-pantheist of a given faith is tenuous at best. The god is the same, yet the beliefs and practices differ. Pantheists of a given faith have more in common with fellow pantheists who worship other gods than they do outsiders who belong to the same faith. Right there, that should tell you everything about the pantheists that you need to know. Hey, Train Boy, thank you for the host. I greatly appreciate it. How you doing, man? Oh. Only by gathering together and by combining the best talents of the group can we succeed. That's an interesting principle to live by. I mean, they're not entirely wrong, but it certainly has a us versus them kind of mentality. Nice! I'm not quite full of mac and cheese, but I had some. I had some very good mac and cheese. Thanks to my illustrious roommate cooking last night. Oh boy. Getting into the faith of the Pantheist League, it's... if the Pantheist League were to be compared to any real-world sect of anything, it would be extremists of any religion. That's what they are. They are the extremists of this world's religions. Which, just based on that alone, makes me not a big fan of theirs. Although, if I had a player play as one, that could bring some interesting tension to the party. Uzi about their combined faith. I'm not sure I'll be able to fit in the symbol. There's so much here. It goes on to the next page. Oh boy. We might need to do some cutting. Okay, well, let's see if there's any cutting we can do up here. Let's start and see if we can do anything, because there's a lot more to come, and if we can't get rid of it, some of this, we won't be able to fit the rest of it. Let's see here. Hajma, Jahar, Kor, Najam, and Salan? I think that's how you would say it. These 5 enlightened gods make up the Pantheon. Priests of the Pantheon recognize only these gods, considering them to be the true great gods. Members of the Pantheist League do not tolerate the worship of any other deities. All but Jahar is known and worshipped throughout the Land of Fate. Still, the bond between pantheists and non-pantheists of a given faith is tenuous at best. The god is the same, yet the belief and practices differ. Pantheists of a given faith have more in common with fellow pantheists who worship other gods than they do outsiders who belong to the same faith. You know, I think it's safe to assume that the gods of the Pantheon are Pantheon gods. So, let's get rid of that. Only by gathering together and combining the best talents of the group can we succeed. Trust your foes to be jealous of your accomplishments. Whoa. Okay. The gods of the pantheon are the only true gods. Okay, yeah, I don't think we actually need to reiterate that. That was up in the previous section. All other so-called deities are common creations, and their followers must be enlightened. What now? Okay. Excessive action may be excused by excessive circumstances. Okay, yeah, these guys are very, very much so the extremists. Oh boy, okay. Yeah, we're gonna need more water. Not yet, but soon. Unlike worshippers elsewhere, pantheists do not attend ceremonies tailored only to one god. Instead, pantheist mosques are similar to open mosques found elsewhere. Religious services reflect the variety among the worshippers who are welcomed. There is one key difference, however. Only the 5 deities of the pantheon may be venerated in a pantheist mosque. No other mosques are permitted within the cities of the League of the Pantheon. Those who manage to exist are small, as well as secret. The pantheist church is a united body, devoted to the well-being of all of its worshippers. The church works closely with the local rulers of the pantheist cities to ensure that the needy are cared for, the hungry are fed, the sick are healed. Pantheist followers, okay. Them to come back to here. Non-pantheist priests who worship one of the deities of the pantheon are regarded with tolerance and general interest. They are cousins hailing from the outside the pantheon, welcomed as members of related churches. Even a pantheist believes that a priest of Kor is still a priest of Kor, even a somewhat misguided Korite from Eiffel. Nonetheless, priests would prefer to sway that cousin to be more like-minded. Ironically, a pantheist may never receive the same welcome when they travel to a sister church outside the pantheist city. As a group, the pantheists are regarded with suspicion, particularly in the Pearl cities. If the gods themselves have any precise opinion on to whose view is correct, they've kept it to themselves. You know, maybe we can fit it. Maybe we can fit it. It'll be close, but maybe. Who worship one of the deities of the pantheon are... I totally did not spell pantheon correct. Regarded. And you know, we can probably get rid of that general interest with tolerance. They are cousins. Hailing from outside the pantheon. Welcomed as members of related churches. God, the number of times I'm gonna I'll probably never fail to spell pantheist after this. That's a total lie. I'm such a bad speller that I will probably misspell it a lot even after this. You know, I always would have suspected that nonetheless was actually not a single word, but separate, because it seems like one of those things that shouldn't be a single goddamn word. How much space do we have left? Ooh, not much. Can we fit the rest of this in? Oh, hey, I can copy that. That's good. Can I get all of that? Oh, I can. How close are we going to get here? Now I can probably cut this section out. If the gods themselves have any precise opinion as to whose views are correct, they've kept it to themselves. Because by not having anything stated directly, that kind of implies that the gods have taken no sides. Oops. Oh boy. Do one more line down. Okay, okay. Let's see if we can get... See if we can get that pentagon in here then. What's that going to be under P? Pantheist? Pantheon symbol. Ooh, boy. Okay. Well, you're going to have to shrink there, buddy. That's all there is to it. Ouch. Well, that's 27. I've already got a number of them done. All right. Local gods. New section. And these gods, do we have symbols for these gods? We do. Well, some of them at least. Why didn't I open that? That was really dumb of me. But yeah, there's not enough. Okay. Bold, 24, center justified. Bam. Alright, there are more local or common gods than there are cities in the Land of Fate. Some are tied to a particular holy site or idol, some are venerated by a particular tribe or community, and some have but a handful of followers. Many of these individual faiths are served by Al-Qahins, who may venerate different gods in the form of an icon. The following are covered below. Bala of the Tidings, the Kahins, the Temple of 10,000 Gods, and Vadakwal, the warrior slave. We don't need that whole section right there. That can go away, because that will be made painfully obvious once they get here. Okay. Bala of the Tidings. Also called Bala of Ill Tidings, this common god of music was openly beloved in Mahaba long ago. When Pantheus took control of the city, her worshippers were forced to continue their faith in secret. Bala has been depicted as a middle-aged woman, dressed modestly but colorfully, playing the zither. So wonderful is her music that the genies come to dance for her, and the other gods pause from their work at the hint of a song. Such are the legends. I like this god. Although I'm also a big fan of music, so even if I can't make it myself. Ooh. The unenlightened and joy. Seer. The voice was made to sing, and the mind to create praise for all things. Bring news to the unenlightened and joy to the suffering. Speak freely and openly amongst friends. Strike against those who seek to silence our tongues. You know, I like most of these gods. Why can't we have these gods? I'd worship one of these gods. These gods seem awesome. I mean, I guess I could just set up a church if I really felt like it. Let's see here. The Pantheists have attempted to stamp out Belanite faction in Mahaba for years. As a result, the faith has spread to several other cities. Good job. At least one fellowship of Belanite holy slayers, oh boy, has formed as a result of pantheist persecution. The holy slayers are determined to remove the oppressive yoke of pantheist rule. Bala of the Tidings has become Bala of Ill Tidings, playing a dirge for those who attempt to crush her followers. Outside the Pantheist League, a priest of Bala may worship at an open mosque just like any other priest. Within the cities of the Pantheon, Belanites do not profess their faith unless they are sure of the company they are keeping. Meetings and worship are quiet, hidden affairs. Speak freely among friends is a greeting by which Belanite can recognize one another. But they also have other, more secret codes. It does not continue on with that. Interesting. I like this. This is giving me more ideas for campaigns. Oh, that's why. Bala, what is your symbol? I believe, if I remember correctly, yeah, it's a Zephyr. Bam. Oh, gonna have to shrink you a little bit. There we go. $28. All right. So after Bala, Kahins. Oh yeah, that definitely didn't fit. Nope. Our idol priests. They believe that divinity is found in all things, and that by worshipping a certain item, place, or even a common god, they may tap and understand the mystical power of the universe. Their faith is ancient, predating most of the religions in the Land of Fate. Their holy sites are scattered throughout the Land of Fate. Interesting. Their ideal is the universe. So what, is their symbol the exploding brain meme? There's a great scheme, a masterwork that encompasses men and women. Their creations, the gods, the genies, the world, and even fate. This scheme is continually changing, like a tapestry, becoming ever larger and more complex. Oh, that's why. On the wrong thing. Practice moderation in all things. Say the Kahins. And strive to achieve a balance. Accept that which you have been given. And play your role in life. Interesting. While Kahins believe in a greater scheme, they do not feel it necessarily ordered. The future is forming, but it is not set. All actions of the present are to be taken into account to produce a balance. The future cannot be foretold, and therefore must be as yet unrevealed. Whatever will happen will happen. Kahins are free priests, so they are not bound to any organized church hierarchy. Most are independent wanderers, preferring the wilderness to city life. They do share a kinship, however, and each would willingly come to the aid of another. At high levels, some Kahins join together as teachers who impart their wisdom to the young. Their organization is still loose, however. See, I just want to remove everything that's, like, strictly trying to, like, relate to game rules. All Kahins believe in a divine, overriding force. A force which is the fabric of the universe itself. Its energy permeates the land. The Kahins' means of tapping... I don't know what some of these other, like, these extra punctuation marks are doing in here. I don't get it. Means of tapping that energy vary. Most individuals worship a particular idol, local god, or holy site. These things are conduits to the divine force in all things. Idol priests are well versed in the ways of Zakara's gods, and many serve as mediators between groups. In general, they counsel acceptance of differences rather than attempt to convert others. Their nomadic lifestyle and broad knowledge make them ideal go-betweens for desert tribes, some of whom believe in various enlightened gods, such as Haku, and some of whom believe in local deities and forces. Okay. Now, let's bring this down a little bit. Oh, that was perfect. And then, where is the Kahin symbol? Alright. And this one I can actually make grow a little bit. Alright. Looking good. 28, 29. Not making quite as much progress as we did last time because we had to do all that editing. But it's important that we're doing that stuff. Alright, Kahins, go away. Go. Okay, let's see here. Bam, bam. Oh, that's not even gonna touch it. We're gonna need to do a lot of cutting on this one, I have a feeling. The Temple of 10,000 Gods is an odd enemy among the enlightened faiths. Whilst its members recognize the established gods such as Kor Najin, they also recognize any deity. They believe all gods to be aspects of the same divine power. In other words, the many deities, known and forgotten, are but different faces for the same divinity. Some moralists declare that the Temple of 10,000 Gods is no more than a philosophy, and not a true religion. But priests of 10,000 gods gain spells in the same fashion as other priests of their class kit. Someone or something is listening to their prayers. Get rid of that little reference to game mechanics. Their symbol is a nautilus shell. Of course their ideal is acceptance. They believed in all gods. The gods are aspects of a greater holy power. Men and women, elves, half-elves, dwarves, and other creatures. All mortal beings mirror the divinity of that divine power. All are touched by the same holy radiance. Accept your brothers and sisters. Think well of them and treat them kindly. For they are like you. For they, like you, are divine. Oh boy. Alright, so now we're on the faith section, which is... oh, actually not quite as substantial as I thought it was. I mean, it's still big, but... followers of the 10,000 gods tend to be quick-witted, cunning, and pragmatic. The faith has the largest number of pragmatists amongst preach of any church. They are often humorous to the point of being sarcastic, and sly to the point of being devious. It is sometimes hard to discern whether they are telling the truth or whether they are merely toying with someone. Members of this popular faith tend to be wanderers, curious by nature. While Kahins frequent the wilderness, priests of the 10,000 usually travel from town to town. As a result, there are few organized mosques of the 10,000. For the 10,000. Those which do exist are, of course, open mosques. That can stay. Rather than locating a mosque of the 10,000, it's a small matter for a faithful to worship at another recognized mosque, or to accept the hospitality from a more organized religion. Priests of the 10,000 are essentially jacks of all trade. You know what? Jacks of all gods. There we go. They can debate theology with the priests of Kor as easily as can advise priests of Ceylon. For the 10,000 priests worship both gods and more. Priests who venerate a single god treat members of the 10,000 as an interesting diversion in secular life. Some outsiders believe such a broad-minded cleric can bring a new light to their own faiths by crossing over the lines between religions. Others view priests of the 10,000 as a chattering group of agitators and headache makers. I wonder who believes that. Who seek to ridicule the existent gods. In the Pantheist League, followers of the 10,000 are outlawed. Really? While these outlaws frequently visit the cities of the Pantheon, they are almost impossible to catch since they freely worship the Pantheon gods. Outlaws, who are wise, simply blend in with the Pantheon crowd. Bam. Holy crap. That was very close to the end there. Let's extend that down a little bit. See if we can't get enough space to put that Nautilus shell in there. It's going to be a tiny Nautilus shell. Thousand Gods symbol. You. All right. What was that? 30? Nice. Temple of the 10,000 is done. Vatakatal. I probably said that wrong. Just letting you know. I wish I could use shortcuts for that, but shortcuts don't work, apparently. Also called Master of the Battlefield, this common god represents duty and strife. He is worshipped in the far north of Zakhara, in regions that border open barbarian lands. Matches that of a barbarian war gods. He is portrayed as a strong-hewn figure in flowing robes. Beneath him he wears blood-stained lamellar and carries a great scimitar in one hand. His face is veiled, revealing only his red glowing eyes. Vatakatal is said to stride onto battlefield, look for opponent so that he can test their ability and spirit. Grow powerful by conflict. Yeah, that definitely seems like an Ares sort of thing to say. Because let's face it, this guy's Ares. Attain true spiritual peace through testing one's abilities against another. Thinkers may debate, but warriors speak with the strength of their sword and their hearts. Duty stands above all. Vatakatal's followers acknowledge that their god has a lesser standing than Zakhara's other enlightened gods. This is in keeping with his dual nature of a slave and servant. Inferior in status, yet stronger in the sense of purpose and will. Those qualities enable him to effectively serve and protect the weak. Vatakatal is most popular among Mamluks, Pharasan, and Paladins. Warriors who understand the value of duty, and who live to aid others. in one degree or another. We'll get rid of that. That doesn't really have any matter of like impact on anything. The greatest temple to Vadakatal is in Quadra, the City of Power. It is the Mosque of Blood, erected by Mamluks who used hewn red sandstone, and then coated the walls with henna. Smaller shrines are found among the free cities, where the Mamluk orders are powerful. But none of these shrines compares to the size and grandeur of the Mosque of Blood. Aha! New section. Okay. Now let's get that scimitar in there. Oh, I got tons of space for this one. Why couldn't they all be like this? Bam. $31. Right? Yeah. Okay. So that taken care of. Whew. That also felt really good. Just, you know, doing some more fixing here. Now these sections are not going to have very many actual descriptions of gods or anything like that. It's just going to be essentially overarching, like, hey, here's something else you should probably know. Oh. Alright, major and local gods share common origins in the legends of Zakharal, but there are also beings strange to these civilized lands, whose worshippers have never heard of the law or lawgiver, and who do not recognize the law or even existence of other gods. These strange deities come from a number of areas, most from the borders of the civilized world. They have no organized mosques, and their clerics, mortals foolish enough to follow them, are usually considered outland priests. Only a few of the savage or heathen gods are described below. The great river empire of Nogan Kadar worshipped their own deities, allegedly through foul and inhumane rites. Crumbling edifices of statues erected in honor of those gods still litter the ruined kingdoms. While little is remembered of these deities, the following have been identified. Niga the Predator, who commanded a pride of female were-leopards. Lotha, a human-headed spider venerated by evil elves who were burned alive for their sins. I wonder who that could be. Migal, also called the mentor of the gods in some writings, he had a horde of winged assassins to enforce his orders. Actually, I don't know who that one's supposed to be. Sajar, an obese, hippo-headed god of the river. His mate, Ragara, who appears to be crocodile-headed woman with bat wings. Now that sounds like something out of Cthulhu mythos. Okay, so that's the Forgotten Gods. And then we'll probably put the Ajami gods there just to fill out that page. And then we will get the other ones on their own pages. Some faiths are brought to Zakra through traders and explorers from far-off lands. To Zakarans, such foreign gods, the Ajami gods, are invariably vain and selfish. Their temples are restrictive, for each demands a worship in a shrine erected solely in his or her name. Nearly all grant power through their symbols, and allow themselves to be flattered with graphic portrayals at every turn. Often, they are carried like a burden by the travelers who worship them. Yep. All right. Gods of the Crowded Sea, and the Wild Gods being the next two biggest one. We'll see if we can't... I don't think we'll be able to get both of them in here, but I might be able to get one of them in with whatever the last one that's left is. Many islands of the Crowded Sea have been isolated for decades or centuries. In these exotic climes, strange and mysterious gods have arisen. Some are monsters, others are heroes raised to mythical proportions. And some are truly gods of a type that have not been encountered since the first genie pledged service to the first Shire. Tales from the distant and savage lands include the drummer, who has no form but travels through the air when his shamans beat drums made from hollow logs. When summoned by his worshippers, the drummer can pass through the bodies of his enemies, gnawing the flesh of an unbeliever's body. Kuraga, a giant with the head of a horseshoe crab, who is said to live in the deep inlet of an uncharted island. The natives, it is said, give offerings to this immortal creature. In turn, the giant protects their village from all who would attempt to sail into the bay and enslave his worshippers. The Lost One, who is said to be an outcast from the land of Ephael itself. Statuettes of this being, portrayed as a great elephant-headed humanoid with a long flowing mane, are still found upon the island kingdom. When discovered, they are destroyed by the Church of Ceylon. Iphel's prevailing enlightened faith. The Lost One has no name, having abandoned it when he fled Aphiel under the assault of the priests of the enlightened gods, who were supported by genies. Since then, the Lost One has allegedly confined himself to some island or underwater shoal, where he lurks, brooding and waiting his return to his homeland. Pag, a nature god who provides rich bounty, Pag is said to inhabit every tree and flower on the chain of islands over which he reigns. For this reason, his worshippers eat only fish and seaweed and let berries rot on the vine. I have a piece of art that I might try and fit in here. Where's the stealing from a god? Was that how... That's a whole page, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Huh. Well, let's see here. Can I fit the cold gods of the elements in here? Did I just fit it in? Holy cow. Okay. Al-Qadim of the air, Grumbar of the earth. Can I bold these and still fit it in? Sisha of the water. And Koseth of the fire. These are the cold gods of the elements. Their power is great. Mortals who have seen the phenomenal strength of an elemental monolith know what such a creation is, but a slight shadow of the deity born of the same plane. Despite their power, few creatures look to the cold gods for magic or guidance. These deities are dubbed cold because their attitude towards men and other. Inferior beings, indifference, or outright hostility. The genies, who are themselves creatures of the elements, recognize the existence of the cold gods. As a rule, however, not even the genies would worship them. Occasionally, a mad priest or a mystic may come under a cold god's spell, but few would set out to do so, and more than one evil mage belonging to the Brotherhood of the True Flame has sought to tame one of these dark gods. Such mages have only courted their own destruction. Hey, Wicked! Sorry I didn't get back to you about getting together, but you were already in midstream, and I didn't want to interrupt you. But how you doing, man? Okay, so that's page 33. I think this will be page 34. It's not quite 8.5 by 11. Really? Okay. Up and over. Perfect. Save as 34. Damn it. Okay. So that was 34. This will be 35, and that'll be the end of the gods. Not even going to need that much space. The wild gods. How'd RPG Maker go tonight? Those gods deemed wild by civilized Zakarans watch over the hill tribes and others who live in Zakara's highest altitudes, far above the hot desert floor. These deities are brutal, beast-like creatures who are not native to the Land of Fate. Once, it is said, they ruled the heaven far above far-away lands. As a punishment for misdeeds, they were cast out seeking refuge in the outlands. Mastica gods? There are many wild gods, as there are tribes. Tribes and savage peoples. But two of them typify their breed. The beast is worshipped by some hill tribes south of the Free Cities. He is said to be a drooling, snarling half-man with eyes and fangs of a cat. According to legend, he stalks the hills looking for lost and stolen children so that he may grant them the freedom of death. Shamans of the beast can whip their people into a fever pitch to assault the coastlands, resulting in a bloodbath for both sides. Wonderful! The Faceless God watches over the evil and malicious Yakmen who dwell in the northeastern corner of Zakara. These yak-headed humanoids are more deadly than the savage tribe, for they know the arts of magics of civilization, but they wield them without joy, wisdom, or tolerance. They have but one deity, a giant, a great giant. Like the Yakmen, the god wears heavy, sweeping robes. It too has the head of a yak, with great curved horns. Unlike its followers, however, this god has no face. Interesting. Very interesting. I've never read that entry before. I've never needed to. Or thought to. Probably should have, because That Yakman one is kind of interesting. I could have used it in my last campaign. Oh well, you live, you learn, you move on. Okay, so that is all the gods. We are done with all of the gods sections. And now what we have is a whole lot of customs before we get into the actual tribes themselves. Like it's a significant portion, the customs of the world section. Well, no better time to get started than now. So many goddamn customs. I mean, it's very cool that the D&D team fleshed all this out, but it's rather daunting, to be honest. It's divided into two broad groups. The nomads are Al-Badi, and the city dwellers are Al-Hadhar. This chapter focuses on the latter, while the nomads dwell primarily in high, romantic desert plateaus. Al-Hadhar, for the most part, inhabit Zakara's lowlands and coasts. It is cooler and wetter there, with frequent morning fogs and a heavy but brief rain during monsoon season. Life is not driven by the search of water or green grass as it is for the nomads, though irrigation and wells are still required for agricultural in general. The people of Zakara's settlements have easy access to water and other basic necessities, things the nomads hold so dear. So we'll go ahead and tab you, drop you down one. Al-Hadhar are sedentary as well as settled. A man often lives in the same house as his father, same community as his grandfather, a greater sense of continuity here than in the desert, with buildings and businesses offering proof of man's ability to tame the lands. Trade is more established in the settlements, which often have souks, covered markets, in addition to open bazaars. The population is more heavily concentrated here than the wildlands, giving rise to stronger rules of order and law. Zakara's Al-Hadhar also are more cosmopolitan than desert dwellers. They have been exposed to foreign visitors. Traders from far-off lands rarely venture into the inhospitable desert, but they frequently visit Zakara's great cities. As a result, Al-Hadhar have gained a broader, more practical outlook. While they are often referred to as city dwellers, Zakara's Al-Hadhar live in settlements of all sizes, from the crudest collection of mud brick hovels to the golden tower of Hazez, the city of delights. From the perspective of the Al-Badi, their lives are the same soft, sedentary, and restricted. Indeed, the similarities between Al-Hadhar who live in villages and who live in great cities far outweigh the differences. And where's that I mean, we just had an image a few little bit ago. We can do without an image on this one. Completed pages down to page 36. Right? Right, okay. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna have to call it here for tonight. This heat is giving me a wicked headache, and I've already had like 300 ounces of water today. I might need to consume something with a bit more salt and sugar in it to bring my electrolytes back up. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And I hope you guys will join me tomorrow from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. where we will continue our look back at the Oblivion. Sorry. See, even my brain's messing up. At the Elder Scrolls series with Oblivion. Again, hope you guys have a wonderful night. I want to thank Trainboy for and Wicked for participating, and Trainboy for hosting us. Thank you guys very much. Again, have a wonderful night, and I'll see you tomorrow.